Holy shit. I did it. I just got a job from an actual billionaire. After Thanksgiving, I'm going to be moving out to Scottsdale, Arizona, and I'm going to be working full time with him. This is remarkable. Let's just put some context on this. Right now, I am in the Bahamas at an event that costs 50,000 a year to go to. I get to go for free because I'm working with one of the people who own it. Another guy who kind of co-runs it, he is a billionaire. He has a multiple billion-dollar real estate syndication fund. This guy is a proper OG. He has over 300 employees. Every single person who signed up for this mastermind, I don't know, there's 50 people or whatever. I would say 75% of them signed up because of this guy, because most of them here are in real estate and they want to be doing exactly what this guy is doing. But he has a huge flaw. He has a big social media with around 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, but he's doing everything wrong. He got there because his information is so good, despite the fact that he sucks at YouTube. But why would he be good? He's 60 years old and his focus is running his real estate. So I've given him a bunch of advice. He also has a digital product around that because he likes to make money. And I've been telling him for a long time that he has the biggest opportunity. If you like someone like Alex Hormozy, that guy's running a massive business and he is running a huge business niche. Alex Hormozy is doing very well despite his poor editing. He has a team that he's spending about 250 grand a month on, but doing everything wrong because they don't understand YouTube. And that's kind of where I come in because I'm going to be helping this guy who I just am so excited to learn from. My whole goal with this is I'm going to be spending every single day with a guy who has multiple $1 billion and 300 employees. So I'll be seeing what he does on a day to day, how he's thinking through these problems, how he's going to raise $100 million for his next fund. And I'm just going to be documenting that for him because I think that's what people actually care about. What does a billionaire do every single day? How do you manage 300 people? What happens when one of your properties starts to go bad? How are you fixing these massive issues swiftly and as controllably as possible? Because he's done it all before. What is he thinking about right now? That's kind of the way that I'm going to structure it. And then on the back end, funnel them to his digital products that he has because I just think all viewers are potential customers when you have a big following. Because think about it, that's what advertisers pay for. Advertisers are paying. This guy gets a lot of views. That means a portion of his views are potentially going to want to buy my product. That's what you do when you are buying ads. Whereas if you have an organic audience, people actually like you more because they've come to know, like, and trust you over time. And if you built up that sort of credibility, they would rather buy your product. So there's a huge opportunity. I'm sure that most people understand that, but let me explain how I actually got this job because it has been about a year in the making. So I first met this guy maybe a year and a half ago at one of the first events, and I was blown away. I mean, he is so nice. The first time you meet him, he's like a spinning image of Dale Carnegie with how to win friends and influence people because he's tapping you on the shoulder, pretending like you guys are best friends. Just he's doing that with everybody, and he just lights up the room. He's probably the best networker on the planet Earth. So about a year and a half ago, I wasn't too good at what I'm doing now, but I was working on it every single day, and I was trying to give him some help as to what he could improve on. He was like, "Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right." But he's like, "I just don't have the time." And then maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, when we had our last event, I was taking it pretty seriously. I was thinking, "Hey, dude, you have a huge opportunity here. Here's what I think you should do: X, Y, Z. ABC, just going through the entire list, and he loved it. He loved it. He said that he had a restructuring issue with a few of his employees, and he needed to get that handled, but we will talk again. And so I was encouraged, but disengaged at the same time because I was thinking maybe that's just a kind way for him to turn me down. But then yesterday, so he was like, "Dude, I need you." And actually, my current boss right now, he was the one who encouraged me to do it. He talked to the guy because they're kind of co-partners, and he's like, "Dude, you have to do this. This is the best opportunity." He was like, "When do you want to come?" I said, "How about I go Sunday with you?" I mean, shit, I'll go Sunday. And I was hoping I was calling his bluff, but yeah, he said next week. He's like, "Yeah, next week I'm going to the F1 race and I'm going to be meeting Dana White." I was like, "Okay." He was like, "How about after Thanksgiving?" And I said, "That's perfect." So now I have so much to prepare for. I want to put in at least 150 hours of deep preparation for this so I can crush it. This is exactly what I've been working up towards, and I have astronomical amounts of work to get done in preparation for it, but that is besides the point. How did this come to be? How is a 21-year-old schmuck now going to be working with a billionaire? And I'm actually going to be working three full-time jobs. I'll be working with this guy. I'll still be working my original job and the job that I've kind of been focusing on, documenting my journey on here. So I'm going to be ridiculously busy. But these are the types of opportunities that you have to take and swing for the fences, because all three of these opportunities are ridiculous. So I guess maybe a year down the line, I might reflect and say that this was wrong, but that is not for this video. I don't have a choice. I'm sticking with it. So what actionable principles allowed me to do this? And I would say number one, I have been so eager with forcing myself in any room with these guys. For example, there was a different event that I was at where it was Robert Kiyosaki, this guy, my current boss, and one other dude. And I was walking with my boss, and he said he was going to dinner. And I talked to the billionaire dude, and the my current boss didn't offer for me to go to dinner. So that means I was not supposed to go. But I was like, dude, I gotta get in there. So what I did, I was like, hey, talking to the billionaire, what if I get the Uber and we'll go together? So because we were at a different event. And he's like, yeah, that sounds great. So I ended up sneaking in because I went with someone else, and I got the invite, and just forcing myself in the room so I could hang out with them a bit more, and hopefully pick up some nuggets of information. But so it's kind of forcing myself in the room regardless of any shame. I think that's easy because I'm so young, and that kind of shows initiative. It might be more difficult if you are a 50-year-old, because that's just kind of the way the world works. People appreciate someone doing this when they're super young. They think it's a bit creepier when it's super old. And I don't know why that's the case, but it is. So I'm taking advantage of it thoroughly while I can by literally forcing myself into these rooms as creepily as possible. And then hopefully they don't hate me after. And then I would say just giving every single thing I know away for free. I don't know much. I don't know really anything at all. But to every single one of these people at these events, if they are asking me for something, I give them everything that I could possibly think of and more. Everything. Most people, they try and gatekeep the information they have. Like they hoard onto it. They say, "Oh, this is if this would made me money, I can't tell anybody. These are my secrets." And I've seen a lot of people do this. But then, what if you actually solve one of these guys' problems? What is the downside? There is enough money for everybody to make. There is enough information for everybody to have. There is a complete abundance in the world. If you think because you give one person some information that's going to help them, that is going to ruin your chances of succeeding, there is a serious flaw in your mindset. How do we have so many billionaires and millions of millionaires in this world? It wouldn't be possible if there was a finite supply that we can achieve. It really just comes down to, hey, I am going to tell you absolutely everything that I know. And then maybe they don't care. Like most of the time, nobody even takes you up on that kind of advice. And even if they do, they don't have the background information knowledge that you have. If you're super scared that your market share is going to shrink down, it has not worked like that from anything I've ever seen. All of these guys that are at this event, they are all providing as much information as they can to the other person, as much as they can. Why? Because then you're bouncing ideas off of each other. I see so many people that try and gatekeep their knowledge or what they're doing. That is not how you're going to succeed in a very long period of time. Because if you are scared of other people knowing what you know, nobody's going to tell you what they know. And that is really where you learn. Or how the hell are you going to get any better? I don't know. I don't like that a lot of people do that. Can't control it. I don't know why they do it. I'd love to know why somebody would do that. So, number one, it is forcing myself into the room. Number two, providing as much value as possible. Number three, basically just being as curious as possible about their lives. And I mean genuinely curious. I'm lit up with energy, hyper focused when these guys are talking because this is what I love. I love this so much. So they can clearly tell that when they're telling me about their backstories to how they got into business, I am eagerly listening like a stupid child. But that's the way it is because I love this more than anything. So it is very easy for me to be excited and enthusiastically listening and asking follow up questions if I don't understand something or just having a great conversation because I am interested and curious in what they're talking about. That allows them, and I think that is why I have such a good relationship with a lot of these people because I do love to talk to them. And most people love to talk about themselves. So this is a great conversation because I'm very happy to listen in this type of environment. So I know a lot of people are going to say, Josh, this is so easy for you to say because you're in the room with them already, because you got the job. That just was not always the case. I had not been on a plane until I was 18 years old, and that was when I met my first boss, and the reason I got that job is because I got his logo tattooed on my leg because I'd reached out to 100 people beforehand asking to work for them for free, and none of them said yes. So then I got his damn tattooed logo, took my first flight over to meet him, still didn't get the job. So it is just a long period of forcing yourself and just working in the dirt for no reason. I know that I'm at one of those highs. Last weekend, I was in the St. Bart's and I was meeting with only billionaires. I don't know how the hell my life got like this. It is fucking insane. But one of them, he was one of the best stock traders slash investors of all time. In 1989, during the Japanese bubble, which was a massive stock market bubble, he had rode it all the way up. Then he got it at the top, pretty much went short on the way down. In 1999, during the tech bubble, he did the same thing. Real estate in 2007, then he was buying real estate in 2012 when everything had crashed. And then in 2020, when everything shit the bed, he was buying as much commodities and everything as possible. And then he was buying then he was buying a ton of crypto and everything else, riding everything up, and then he got out. So what was the real value there? He could acknowledge that stuff was in a bubble. But it didn't matter because he could still make so much money while acknowledging it's in a bubble. And most people, they get caught up in the psychology, oh, this is going up, it's going to go up forever. He knows this is a ticking time bomb, but during those chances, you can just make so much money. So understand that you are at a high in life. That's where I am right now. Everything has been going perfect for me. So there's not a whole lot better this can get. That means I'm going to have a roller coaster ride of going back down. So I need to be aware of myself enough to know that I am in one of my highs because I've had so many great opportunities. I've had so many great things happen recently. And that bubble is eventually going to pop. But why not take advantage of it to the highest possible degree beforehand while still acknowledging that I'm in a bubble? So when stuff does start to hit the fan, I am at least at a lot higher starting point. Let's say I go up by 50% and then it crashes down by 30%. Well, guess what? I'm still, or it goes up by 150% and then it crashes by 30%. You're still up 50% or whatever. So you're still getting a massive net gain. I'm trying to be aware of myself in the sense that I know bad shit's going to happen. It's inevitable. It is inevitable. And when it does, I need to be able to hopefully bounce back swiftly and thoroughly. But in the meantime, I'm going to ride this damn bubble high because it is great. I might change my mind in the future because I can be agnostic to the way I feel and it changes very quickly. That is something that I guess I will have to find out for myself. So, the biggest opportunity I've ever had. This guy is the most well connected human on the planet Earth. There is so much pressure because I've built so much credibility in this group because everything I have done recently have worked out fantastically because I'm riding that bubble. I am going to be doing something that I have not done before with this guy. I'm taking over his entire team. I'm going to be managing people that are a hell of a lot older than me for his product and social media side. And then the way that I'm structuring the deal, I'm going to talk about that in a different video because there's a lot of that goes into that is incredible. You always go for a revenue share when you're working with these kinds of people, but that's about as much value as I can provide. I just don't have time right now. So I will go into that in a future video. So I'm going to be filling in a role that is exceptionally, there is such a high standard because I have all just to get the job, I've overpromised to a very high extent. I've said that you can do this. You if you were doing it right, you could do so much, and he knows it too. So now it's up to me to be able to facilitate that. So the pressure that is on myself now is unlike anything I've ever had. And this is where I need to rise to the occasion. So we'll see. We'll see.